Hey guys, it's Will again. I thought I would do an update video on NAT, which is a tanker ship company. And what I was trying to get across was that a lot of people were buying it just because they thought, oh, oil, there's tons of oil out there and it's going to need to be stored somewhere. And so there's kind of like a story there. And what I like to try to get you guys to do is look at the charts. And even if you like a company, you know, you can just buy when there's uptrends and avoid the down periods or the flat periods for long periods of time. So you can see here where, you know, I've done 2 or 3 videos on NAT, or at least I've talked about, I think, NAT at least 3 times. And the last one might have been at the beginning of another video. But so what I have here is a daily chart. So that means every candle here is a day, 1 day in duration. I'm using TC2000 for charting software. So if you want to get a free trial of that, check out the link in the description. And I absolutely love this for scanning and searching for stocks, and pre-market. You can find stocks that are gapping up, and I've got watch lists here where I track all the stocks, you know, that I buy, or I've got leveraged 3x ETFs, scans with formulas and everything like that. So anyways, you can see NAT went up like this and it sort of hit this peak, and that's the wick where it opened up here at about $8 on April 28th. It went way up here to $9, and then it dropped down and it closed, you know, at 732. So that, when you see kind of what they call a shooting star candle, has a huge high upper wick, or a big upper wick, you know, that means that the sellers kind of pushed it way down, and that could be a signal of a new downtrend. And of course, the next day you see this gap between the close from the previous day and the open. That's these two, that's the difference here. So if I roughly estimate 6%. So that's a nice thing with TC2000. You can drag the mouse from like where the price might be up to here. Oops, sorry. You drag the mouse up to you know, between 2 points, and you get in the corner here, you might not be able to see it, but 97%. And over the period of 8 days. So insane spike here that occurred. So that got a lot of people excited, and then they bought in, and then it just drop like crazy. So the question is it time to buy now? And I would say yes. And of course, I'm not making recommendations. I'm just telling you my thoughts. And so what happens, what I was mentioning in the other videos, was when it gaps down, that's also a bad sign. So you have a shooting star, you have this gap down. And then what I look for is, I've got this black line, which is the 8 exponential moving average. So it's a fairly tight moving average because it's only 8 days and it's exponential. So that means it's weighted more towards the current day versus just a straight average. So once you see it come down, there's other things you can do to sort of notice that there's a problem. For example, down here, if you want to look at other indicators, I've got basically a MACD, and you can see that it crossed here around May 4th. You've also got the stochastics, which is an earlier indicator, which is around April 28th. So the stochastics crossed, but you can see that it has a down slope to it as well. These aren't, nothing is a guarantee that, you know, it's going to work perfectly, but so what happens is you see the shooting star, the gap down candles, a bunch of dojis, which are indecision. Then you get below this 8 EMA, and there's a down candle. So definitely would be out once you're down below the 8 EMA. And then, so what I do is I'll just watch it. So like all this period of time where people were holding and seeing their decline in their stock, you know, it can be troubling to some people. So, and there's really no point, because you want to deploy your funds, in my opinion, and have them making money, and you can sort of keep rotating and shifting the money during the uptrend. So even if you like North American or Nordic American tanker ship, you know, you can wait until there's a good uptrend. So anyways, another thing that's on this chart is these red dots, and these are called volatility stops. So these are stops where you might put your stop loss, and you want to see a green dot, which would be underneath the price, because obviously if it's above, that means that you're going to be potentially shorting the stock, and you want to have a stop above the price to get you out of the short sell. So red dots are also kind of an indicator, and they take into account the average true range as well, which gives you a bit of a buffer when you're putting a stop. You know, if you wanted to use that as a stop, you could, it gives you an idea of the volatility of the stock, like in terms of the price moving up and down, so that you don't get stopped out too soon. So you could potentially put your stop here and move it up as the price goes up, and that would give you an indication of where you want to put your stop. And then once the price hits that, like where this flipped, you would definitely be out there because it would have triggered your stop right here. But anyways, so you'll notice right here, there's a green dot below. So that's obviously one thing. The other thing you see is a MACD cross here on the daily chart. Stochastics are rising. But in terms of the 8 EMA, the black line, and the 50, you can't see them. They're all smushed together. So you have here the 8 EMA, which is fairly tight. You've got a 50 moving average and you've got a 34 exponential moving average. So you can see that they're all kind of tight together here. But now you've popped up above that. And with obviously, like once you pop over a 50-day moving average, you can have a retest. You know, it doesn't guarantee anything for any length of time, but it's just an interesting moment today. And it's up 10%. So, you know, ideally you'd want to get it maybe as it starts to break the 50 instead of waiting till like 10%. The other thing that might, like I said, might happen is it might come back down and retest the 50. You never know what's going to happen. But this is a significant period of today is where like these MACDs crossed and the stochastics are going up. Actually yesterday, if we zoom in, the price came up above the 8 EMA and there's a doji. So it's a good sign of an uptrend potentially. It's early in the game in terms of like an actual uptrend where you have a higher high or a higher low. You know, you haven't established that yet. But it's that first break. So you never know what's going to happen. But I just thought because I've been a little negative in terms of the downtrend of NAT, I just thought I would mention that there is a potential right here for it to come back. And of course, oil's been going up. So, you know, and also the economy and everything. So, you know, there might be an idea that these tanker ships are going to get more work because you need to obviously ship oil around and stuff like that and other supplies and things like that. So anyways, just thought I'd give you guys an update. And so you might think about checking out NAT and decide for yourself if it's worth your while. Talk to you guys later.